Hello! Today I'm doing a Wandering Bear acrylic painting over an acrylic wash. In order to save some time on this video, I've got an example of an acrylic wash up. Whenever you begin, you want to make sure your first stage, the acrylic wash background, is dry completely. Here we go. Secondly, anyone can do these paintings. This is a logo of a bear off of a stencil, and he's already dry, so we can save a little time. And I painted him in matte, flat black acrylic. He's not perfect. Nothing's perfect. You're just having fun. And now we're going to add a moon onto his back, and then I'll add some stars in the front, and we'll be done. So here we go. I'm just using a standard brush, nothing fancy about it. I like it splayed a little like this little older one. And I'm using some flat white with just a touch of turquoise in the mix. Got a little dry on me. No worries there. I usually don't use gesso. These prefabricated canvases have a factory gesso. It's not really thick, but I like the way that it leaves a little bit of personality for the canvas. Sometimes you get it too smooth and you can't get some nice little effects. Everybody's moon's going to be different. No such thing as a perfect moon. I'm going to make it a little bit heavier at the top. Start out kind of thin in paint. Just work the layer up, have fun, no worries, be happy. I'm holding this stencil down a little. It was kind of being ornery with me and ended up having to use some black duct tape over the top of the blue tape. And I'm not worried about a real crisp edge. If you look at the moon, it's always glowing a little. You rarely see real crisp edged moons. So, but I want to get a little bit of an edge. So I'm just gradually pushing out to the edge here. Now this brush, you'll notice I haven't dipped it. I have a jar over here to drop it in when I'm all done. I use pickle jars. I just like them. I like pickles. But I haven't touched it with water. I've got just a little bit of turquoise mixed over here in a bowl. And I'm adding straight white, acrylic flat white. Now I'm going to dip in there. I'm going to get a little bit of blue, turquoise. I want to add a little bit of personality at the bottom of this here bear moon. There we go. You can always dress these up later. You can go in there and put in little round bumps and stuff. Little craters. There's all kinds of things you can do. But we're just putting the basics down right now. I add some more white. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that for now. Like I said, I can always work it later. Now to preserve the integrity of that, I'm gonna leave that stencil on for now. And we're gonna go right on into this quick video. And I'm going to get this toothbrush. Everybody's got a spare toothbrush. If you don't, go buy you a new toothbrush. You probably need one. And use a toothbrush for this effect. Show you what I'm doing. I'm just using a bowl. It's got a little bit of acrylic blue in there, turquoise. One of my favorites to do stars with. But I want to make sure it's not too heavy. I just want to barely flick these stars on there. So I've dipped it in there. I've added about 50% water. This has gotten a little thick on me, but I'm kind of draining the brush right now by just spraying it in here. And the way that you do that, you just pull it back with your thumb, and bam. You can do grains of sand this way on the beach. You can do little rocks and pebbles in front of trees in the mountains. You can do stars. Alright, well, we're going to have some fun. I'm going to shut up here. We're going to just get after it. So I redipped it a little bit. Here we go. So we're going to pull that back, and bam, real lightly. Now the Bear stencil's not on there real tight, but I did leave it on just to preserve a little integrity there for the background. Not that anybody'd notice. And, you know, if you spill some and it goes out there or whatever, it's no big deal. It's your painting. You do what you want. Now, you want to make that a little more dramatic. You can even put in some quasars. You can put in some shining stars, some Bethlehem stars, whatever. You can use a real detailed tool brush to do that with. I like these stars. I'm going to add some more down here. But I don't want to get down into his feet. Yeah. Okay. He must be wandering around at night. So that's some stars you can add. Now, to make him even more dramatic, I could have made this background a lot darker black. But we're coming along fine. Alright, there's my turquoise toothbrush. I want to come back in and just work a little more texture on top of this moon. He's a little flat, so I've let it just set up and dry just a hair. You get too much texture, I got a little sock over here. You just kind of push that back down if you get too much paint on there. The texture's fine. And get this just right, which the way this brush is going on, that's why I like this splayed brush. When you go back on with a little more texture, you can kind of see some craters popping out there. Which is kind of a cool effect. I'm going to press that down. Now that edge is going to want to be, like I said, not real sharp, because most of your light is going to be hitting from the top in the 3/4 to half zone, depending on your moon, how you feel, what you can see, and probably where you live. So, but he's out in the mountains, this wandering bear. No worries, he's not in the city. You're in a town. Alright, that looks pretty good. Alright folks, there's our stars and our moon, and I've added a couple craters in black with a trusty Sharpie. I'll show you how we do that. And I want to add a quasar or something like that. But the way I did this is I just take trusty Sharpie. It's kind of a dull one actually. I didn't want a real sharp one. And I'm going to put these in, and they look a little harsh, but we're going to fix those here in a minute. Had to let that paint set up a little bit. And this isn't perfect. Nobody's perfect. We're just having fun. So you just kind of dot those in wherever you want to. You can make bigger ones if you want. It doesn't matter. Alright, put the Sharpie down. I'm going to get onto a Quasar. I've added a small brush. It's almost called a toll brush. And I'm barely using just a little of my pickle water here, pickle jar water. So you can see I just barely dipped it in there. I've got just a touch of blue in with the white. And what I'm going to do, I don't want a big blob, I don't want it runny. But I want to put a Quasar up here. So the way we're going to do that is find that dark spot, which is right there, because I didn't put down enough black like I should have. Okay, that's just a spot. We're going to turn this brush around, take the back of it, and we're just going to pull that. Alright, that kind of sets it up. And now with what's left in this brush, I want to just take a little down there. I'm going to make this thing a little bigger. Now to fade that out, you take a little bit of water on your finger. You got fingernails, it's even better. Just kind of dim it down. You just kind of want to dim that down a little bit. That's a little close to the moon there, but I'm okay with it. It's not perfect. I'm going to put a little spot on here. Barely got anything in the brush. Less is more often. And I'm just gently dragging that dry brush across. It's not completely dry, obviously, but it doesn't have to be loaded with paint. And these are all supplies you can buy at Walmart or get a kit on Amazon or whatever. Somebody gives it to you for free as a gift, that's even better. Alright, there's a star. Let's soften that Quasar a little bit. Put a little bit flash around him. I don't know if he's heading to the moon or he's going away. Alright, and we want to fix those craters on the moon. And we're just about done here. Thank you for sticking with me if you're still watching. It's been fun. I'm losing my daylight, I apologize. And we're going to fix these craters by taking a little bit of this paint. I just barely dipped this into my pickle jar, just a touch. I touch back onto the same white and blue, and I'm going to just drain that brush a little, dry it off, and just hit over these craters, these black, because they're too harsh. We don't want them to be too harsh. Alright, need a little bit more paint. Now the craters at the bottom, I'm not covering quite as much because, as we know, light falls down from the light source and shadows become more progressively darker. More darker? That's not the right word. And I'm covering these up on top a little bit more. These craters. Just a touch. And there you have it. That's the Wandering Bear with stars. You can dress it up a little bit more if you want. You can darken the black at the feet. Do a lot of things. You can mess with the moon some more. I'm done with it. I'm happy with it. And you can add some more different colors too with that toothbrush. This is just a basic idea. It's light blue turquoise with just a little bit of water and a toothbrush, an old one. And you can even come back in around here. I'll probably do that a little bit here with some different colors and dress this up maybe a little bit violet coming back around the hump of the bear on his back, and maybe add a couple more quasars. But that's the basic idea. Don't forget to clean your brushes right away and turn them upside down. I like to put them back in the pickle jar after I've dumped the water out. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this, please come back and watch more videos to come and subscribe. Thank you. Have a good evening.